Right now, in a conference room in Carson City, Nevada, something unprecedented is happening. It's being treated as a homeland security threat. Not terrorism, not a cyber attack. Gasoline. The fuel that powers Nevada, Arizona, and half the Southwest is disappearing. And in 3 years, when the gas stations run dry and prices hit numbers we've never seen before, we'll look back at this moment and realize we were warned. The dominoes are already falling. California's refineries are shutting down one by one, and 88% of Nevada's fuel comes from those same refineries. This isn't a future crisis, it's happening right now, and most people have no idea. Last Tuesday, Nevada formed something called the Fuel Resiliency Committee. If you haven't heard of it, don't worry, almost nobody has. But what happened in that meeting room could become the biggest energy story no one saw coming. Nevada just realized it has a problem, a massive problem. 88% of the fuel flowing into Nevada comes from California. That's 9 out of every 10 gallons pumped in Las Vegas, Reno, and every small town in between. Almost all of it starts its journey in California refineries. And here's the thing, those refineries are vanishing. Last month, Phillips 66 closed its Wilmington refinery. That's 139,000 barrels per day, gone. In April, Valero shuts down its Benicia refinery. Another 170,000 barrels gone. Together, that's 17% of California's entire refining capacity, disappearing in a matter of months. Nevada is watching its fuel supply evaporate in slow motion, and there's almost nothing they can do about it. So Governor Lombardo did something unusual. He created a committee and placed it under the Department of Homeland Security. This isn't just about fuel anymore. It's officially a security threat. The committee includes representatives from Chevron, Shell, Phillips 66, Marathon, the Trucking Association, railroad operators, and airport fuel divisions. Everyone who moves fuel is in one room, trying to answer a single question: how do we survive the next 3 years? But Nevada isn't alone in this nightmare. Arizona is in the same boat, actually worse. They rely on California for about a third of their fuel, but unlike Nevada, Arizona has 0 refineries of its own, not one. Every drop of gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel comes from somewhere else, and that somewhere else is shutting down. The situation got so dire that both governors, Republican Joe Lombardo of Nevada and Democrat Katie Hobbs of Arizona, signed a joint letter to California Governor Gavin Newsom. The message was clear: California's energy policies are destabilizing the entire regional fuel supply, and we need better communication. That letter went out in 2024. California didn't change course. They passed more regulations, announced more closures, and doubled down on their clean energy transition. Now both states are scrambling. But here's where it gets interesting. While politicians write letters and hold committee meetings, the pipeline companies have spotted a gold mine. They're racing to build. And what they're building could reshape American energy infrastructure forever. Right now, California operates like an energy island. Its refineries supply its own needs, with some overflow to Nevada and Arizona, but that's about to change dramatically. 3 massive pipeline projects are in development, all targeting the same market, all aiming for the same deadline: 2029. First up is Western Gateway, announced in October by Phillips 66 and Kinder Morgan. This is the big one. 1,300 miles stretching from Borger, Texas, through New Mexico to Phoenix. But here's the genius part. They're going to reverse an existing pipeline that currently carries fuel from California to Phoenix. They're flipping it around to send fuel back into California. This has never been done before at this scale. Western Gateway will pump 200,000 barrels per day into Arizona and California. It connects to Las Vegas through an existing pipeline called CalNev. They're even planning to reverse another pipeline, the Gold Line, to pull fuel from refineries in Illinois and Oklahoma. Midwest gasoline flowing into California. The CEO of Phillips 66 said the initial commitment phase went so well, they're already seeking additional shipper commitments to fill remaining capacity. They're targeting 2029 for full operation, but they're not alone in this race. Last September, another company announced the Sunbelt Connector, 440 miles from El Paso to Phoenix, also targeting 200,000 barrels per day, also aiming for 2029. Then there's Energy Transfer working on the Desert Southwest Pipeline. This one carries natural gas instead of refined products, but it serves the same regional need. It runs 516 miles from the Permian Basin in Texas to Arizona, and the budget just jumped to $5.3 billion due to skyrocketing demand. Arizona utilities need that gas to power the data centers springing up across the state. 3 companies, 3 pipelines, same market, same deadline. They can't all succeed. And here's the problem. 2029 is 3 years away, but the refineries are closing now. Phillips 66 closed Wilmington last month. Valero closes Benicia in April. By the time any of these pipelines are operational, Nevada and Arizona will have spent years adapting to a shrinking fuel supply, and California might be in a serious crunch. When a California refinery goes down for maintenance, we already know what happens. Look at fall 2022 and 2023. Unexpected outages sent gas prices soaring not just in California but throughout Nevada and Arizona. These markets are interconnected. When California suffers, its neighbors suffer more. Economists at UC Davis crunch the numbers. They expect California gas prices to jump 40 cents per gallon almost immediately after the first closure. By August, when both refineries are offline and the market adjusts, prices could rise $1.21 per gallon compared to today. And that's the optimistic scenario. Then there's Professor Michael Mish from USC, who ran different calculations, factoring in rising regulatory costs. His prediction? $8.44 per gallon by the end of 2026. Newsom's office pushed back hard, calling the analysis flawed and questioning Mish's credibility. But they haven't released their own numbers. Meanwhile, Nevadans already pay about 75 cents more per gallon than the national average, and Arizona isn't much better. That gap will widen before it closes. So what's the plan for the next 3 years? Valero surprised everyone in early January. Instead of just shutting down and walking away, they announced they'll keep importing gasoline into Northern California, even after the Benicia refinery closes. They'll use their existing infrastructure to bring in fuel from other sources and distribute it. That helps, but it's a band-aid on a bullet wound. The real question is whether these pipelines will actually get built. 3 projects competing for the same market. It's unlikely all 3 make it. 1 will succeed, 2 will fail, and which one wins will determine fuel prices across the entire Southwest for the next decade. Right now, Western Gateway appears to be leading. Phillips 66 has already secured community support along the route, including areas near Mescalero Apache land in New Mexico. But the other projects aren't backing down yet. Let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. 40 years ago, California had over 40 refineries. By the end of 2026, they'll have just 7. That's a drop from 2.5 million barrels per day to around 1.6 million barrels daily. And it keeps falling. It's not small companies leaving, it's the giants. Chevron, once Standard Oil of California, moved its headquarters to Houston. Phillips 66 closed its Los Angeles refinery. Valero is leaving the Bay Area. Marathon and others have converted refineries to produce renewable diesel, which doesn't help the gasoline supply at all. The states that depended on California's refineries are realizing they bet on the wrong horse. Nevada's Fuel Resiliency Committee will issue recommendations later this year, exploring options like new supply routes, emergency reserves, and infrastructure incentives. But let's be real, Nevada has 3 million people. California has 40 million. When California makes energy decisions, Nevada deals with the consequences. They have no seat at the table. Arizona is in a better position. It's bigger, growing faster, and has more leverage with pipeline companies since it's the first stop for supplies heading to California. Phoenix is becoming a hub for this activity whether California likes it or not. The lesson here is brutally simple. When you depend on someone else for something as critical as fuel, you're at their mercy. And California has made its position clear. Governor Newsom called the refinery closures a step forward in California's clean energy future. The California Energy Commission praised Phillips 66 for finding creative ways to replace lost production with imports. The official position is that as demand naturally declines, especially with more electric vehicles on the road, losing refineries isn't a problem. Maybe it's even good. For California, with its massive economy and commitment to moving away from fossil fuels, maybe that makes sense. But for Nevada, Arizona, the truckers hauling goods across the desert, and families just trying to get to work, it's a completely different story. Airports need jet fuel now. Trucking companies need diesel now. Families need gasoline now. They can't wait for electric vehicles to solve everything. They need fuel today, and finding it is about to get much harder. That's why these pipelines are being built. Texas and Oklahoma oil is about to flow west into markets that have never seen it before. Billions of dollars are being committed. Infrastructure is being constructed. By 2029, the American fuel supply landscape will look completely different. But the big question remains, what happens in the next 3 years? 3 years is a long time when you're staring down a disappearing fuel supply and refineries keep shutting down. Nobody knows how high prices will go, but the governors of Nevada and Arizona are worried enough to classify this as a homeland security issue. Pipeline companies are investing billions to build alternative solutions. And when I filled up my tank this morning, the price on that pump felt like a warning. Something big is coming, and the people in charge are scrambling to get ahead of it before it's too late.